All right, Street Talk time. Let's do it. RIM, two pieces of news today. Sold its new Bay unit to Synchronos Tech for $55.5 million. Unfortunately, that's about half of what the company paid for it. Also, All Things D reporting RIM's royalty payments to Nokia, actually about $65 million up front, then continued on. Remember, RIM settled patent issues with Nokia last week. Barnes & Noble higher despite posting holiday sales that were below expectations. It is rising because British company Pearson buys a 5% stake in the Nook business for $89.5 million. After this, Barnes & Noble owns about 78.2% of the Nook biz, Pearson 5%, Microsoft the remaining 16.8%. LSI Logic rising after Wunderlich Securities starts it with a buy rating and a $9 target. They say that LSI will benefit from increasing demand for storage and networking traffic. They prefer LSI over rival Marvell, which, by the way, just got whacked with a huge patent lawsuit loss. And finally, Cepheid rising after it gets FDA clearance for a test for chlamydia and gonorrhea. Oppenheimer notes that clearance was expected, but it sees the launch of the product here in the U.S. as a key driver for the stock, and they've got a $43 target. That is 9 and change above today's price or something.
That was so fast, Brian. It was almost like one of those disclaimers at the end of a pharmaceutical ad. Anyway, only one full day left to trade this year, folks, and some beleaguered retailers are saying good riddance to bad rubbish to 2012. But 2013 could be a do-or-die time for them. So joining us now from London is Stacey Widlitz, president of SW Retail Advisors and a CBC contributor, and Jan Kniffen, CEO of J. Rogers Kniffen. Ladies first here. Stacey, I'm going to start with Sears because it has had a real comeback of late. In fact, it's up by 32% year to date. Is it do or die next year?
Well, you know, Sears is down 50% on a 3-year basis. Sorry to throw water on that, but I mean, they're in a tough position. This was basically a combination in 2006 by Eddie Lampert. It was a real estate play. It was a play of put brands from Sears into Kmart. And you know what? The world changed and it hasn't panned out. They're under massive pressure from Walmart, from Home Depot, from Lowe's. The comps have been terrible. And frankly, I don't really see a turn in the business.
It really sounds like more of a die than a do then. What about you, Jan? Are you in the same camp as Stacey on Sears?
Of the 4 companies we're looking at here, Sears is the only one people expect to lose more money next year than this year. That's assuming they're around next year to lose more money than this year. So yes, I'm in Stacey's camp. I don't see any way that Sears can be worth more than the $40 it's currently worth. When you look at all the real estate and you value it, and you look at selling all the brands and you value them, and then you subtract out the debt, you can't get above $40 a share, and more like $30 a share would be reasonable. And it would take a long time to sell the stores. It would take a long time to sell the brands. The stores are not worth as much as they used to be. The brands are not worth as much as they used to be. Home Depot, Lowe's, they don't really need them anymore. So yeah, I don't see any way that Sears, if it goes up in the first quarter like it always does, it's a short or sell your position, because I just don't see any way they can have a good year.
Stacey, this time next year, will Radio Shack be around?
I think Radio Shack will continue to be in a very difficult position. Their cash flow is deteriorating by the day. They are in a business where half of their business, which is mobile, is transitioning to a lower gross margin business. That is not going to change. They have told us they're going to try to cut costs, but you know what? We've heard that story in the past, and it hasn't worked, and it's not going to be enough. They've told us they're going to try to sell attachments. That hasn't worked, and I don't expect that to change. And finally, they're in a venture with Target where they're only selling the mobile handsets, not attachments. So there's no margin in that business. So this cash flow story just gets worse.
Jan, what about Best Buy?
Stacey, Best Buy is one of the ones I actually like. It's going to make money this year. It's going to make money next year. Of all 4 of these companies, it's the one that's actually the healthiest as far as cash flow and making money. And I think there's a good chance there could be a deal on Best Buy. And I also think that Hubert Joly, since he took over, is very likely to be able to put into a lot of these expense reductions that he's promised us. I think when they show up, yes, it may not be the greatest company. They've still got to downsize some stores. They've got to move more to the web. They're still fighting with Amazon. But of these 4 players, they're the most likely to either go up because they're bought or to actually be improved next year because of new management that actually knows what it's doing.
You know, Mandy and I are going to make some crazy, insane predictions a bit later on in the show, so we're going to put you both on the spot right now, as of right now. Stacey, start with you. Retail prediction could be crazy, could be insane for 2013. Give us something.
You know what? I'm going to have to, I usually agree with Jan, but I'm going to have to completely disagree with him on Best Buy. I think we get the holiday numbers coming out on January 11th. We just saw Stephen Gillette, who is the great hope on the internet online side. He came in from Starbucks. He just left and went to another company. He was just hired. So that tells you how bad holiday is. And I think potentially Schultz's private equity partners take a walk on holiday numbers. And then this just gets worse for Best Buy.
Okay, so potentially no deal on the holiday numbers. Stacey and Jan, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to call you back, by the way, in 12 months' time and hold your feet to the fire on these predictions. But that's okay, Brian, because our feet are going to be on the fire as well, right?
Yeah, they will. We didn't get Jan's prediction. We'll have to call him back up on Monday, I suppose. We're on air. All right, on deck.